The hum of the Aether Nexus was like a constant, deep heartbeat, a rhythmic, mechanical pulse that echoed throughout the massive station. The towering spires of metallic structures stretched toward the heavens, their surfaces gleaming with the reflection of distant stars. It was a place where the galaxy's most powerful beings gathered, their whispers carrying the weight of millennia of decisions. And yet, Captain Selena Ward stood resolute in the heart of it, surrounded by alien eyes that watched her every move. She felt the pressure of their stares, but she never wavered. She was used to the weight. She had borne it for years, ever since the day her family was lost in the brutal attack that had sparked the fire in her to stand against the galaxy's rulers. Humanity had been pushed to the fringes of the galaxy for too long. It was time for them to claim their place among the stars. No more hiding. No more submission. Captain Ward, the Elder Council awaits, her lieutenant, Rail, said, his voice low but tinged with the same uncertainty that Selena knew he was trying to hide. Selena nodded, tightening her grip on the datapad she held. It wasn't the first time she'd stood in front of a powerful enemy, but it was the first time she'd done so in this court, on this stage. The stakes were higher now, and the outcome far more uncertain. The door before her slid open with a soft hiss. A cool, sterile air flowed into the hallway, carrying the faintest scent of something metallic. The chamber beyond was an ancient hall, a meeting place that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Above, the holographic ceiling shimmered with stars, distant and cold, as though reminding those who entered that they were insignificant in the grand scheme of the universe. At the center of the room sat the elders, their forms cloaked in flowing robes of dark energy that seemed to absorb the light around them. The leader of the council, Elder Lothar, towered at the far end of the room. His eyes, glowing faintly with ancient power, fixed upon Selena as she entered. He was an imposing figure, not just in stature but in presence. His long, silver hair cascaded down his back, and his expression was a mask of ancient wisdom and aloofness. Selena didn't flinch. Captain Selena Ward of the United Terran Forces, Lothar's voice echoed through the hall, calm and commanding. To what do we owe the honor of your presence? Selena met his gaze, unblinking. I am here to speak for humanity. It's time we were heard. A murmur rippled through the gathered counselors, their eyes narrowing in disdain. The audacity of a human, standing before them with such defiance, was a thing unseen in the history of the galaxy. Humanity had always been dismissed as a fledgling species, reckless, impulsive, unpredictable. A species unworthy of the stars. Lothar's lips curled slightly, the faintest trace of a smile flickering in his ancient eyes. You speak of being heard. Do you not understand the place of your kind in this galaxy? You are still a child among us, Captain. You have much to learn. Selena's gaze hardened. I'm not here for lessons, Elder. I'm here for justice. My people have been kept in the shadows for too long. We've paid the price for your complacency. And we demand recognition. Lothar's expression darkened. Recognition? Your people have only just begun to spread beyond your homeworld. You come before us demanding what? The right to sit at the table with the greatest civilizations the galaxy has ever known? I demand more than a seat at the table, Elder, Selena replied, her voice steady and unyielding. I demand a voice. Humanity is no longer a race to be ignored or manipulated. We will no longer kneel to powers who think they own the galaxy. A ripple of disquiet passed through the room. The other council members exchanged looks, some skeptical, others wary. They had always believed that humanity's impulsive nature would be its undoing. But here, before them, stood a woman who defied everything they thought they knew. Lothar's eyes narrowed. You think you can challenge the elders, Captain? You think you understand the power that has kept this galaxy in balance for eons? You are nothing. Selena's lips curled into a tight smile. You're wrong, Elder. Humanity is everything. We are unpredictable. We adapt. We overcome. And we fight until the very end. The room fell silent. It wasn't just the words, there was something in the way Selena spoke them. It was as though every fiber of her being believed in humanity's place. She wasn't some diplomat begging for favor. She was a force, and she was here to make sure the elders knew it. Rael, standing beside her, stiffened but said nothing. He had been with Selena through countless missions, seen her fight battles both on the field and in the council chambers. But even he couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment. This wasn't a battle for territory or power, it was a battle for recognition, for respect. Finally, Lothar spoke again, his voice colder this time. "You speak of challenges, Captain. Very well. If you wish to prove your worth, you will have the opportunity. We will hold a trial, a test of your species' capabilities. The outcome will determine whether you have the right to stand among the galaxy's greatest." Selena's heart pounded in her chest. This was it. The moment that would define humanity's future. "We will accept your challenge," she said, her voice unwavering. "But make no mistake, Elder. This is not just a test of our strength. It is a test of your fear." Lothar's gaze sharpened. For the first time, a flicker of something akin to doubt crossed his ancient face. The words hung in the air, thick with implication. The trial would begin soon. And for better or worse, humanity's fate now lay in the balance. The door behind them slid shut with a soft thud as Selena turned away, the gravity of the moment settling in. This was only the beginning. The trial would be long, and the road ahead uncertain. But she knew one thing for sure: humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. There would be no turning back. The trial was set to begin in 3 days, and Selena Ward's mind raced as she navigated the labyrinthine halls of the Aether Nexus. The elders had granted her a brief respite before the trial, an opportunity, they claimed, to prepare for what lay ahead. But Selena knew it wasn't an opportunity they were offering. It was a test, a silent measure of how well humanity could adapt to the power structures of the galaxy. And this time, the stakes were beyond anything she'd faced. The Nexus, a marvel of technology and ancient design, seemed to pulse with life, its halls teeming with beings from dozens of worlds. The air hummed with the tension of hundreds of species, each with its own history, its own agenda. Selena could almost taste the unease in the atmosphere, the knowledge that the Elders' dominance was being openly questioned for the first time in millennia. The galaxy's most powerful races were waiting, watching, and most of them didn't want to see humanity succeed. Her thoughts were interrupted when Rael, her trusted lieutenant, approached her. His usual calm demeanor was visibly frayed today. "Captain, there's something you need to see," he said, his voice laced with urgency. He held up a small data pad, the screen flickering with encrypted text. Selena's eyes narrowed as she took it from him. "What is it?" Rael hesitated, glancing over his shoulder before leaning in closer. "We've intercepted a transmission. It's from the Andari, one of the smaller factions within the Council. They're planning something, Captain. Something that could sabotage our chances in the trial." Selena's mind raced. The Andari were a race of telepaths, highly intelligent but fiercely territorial. Their involvement in the Nexus was minimal, yet their influence was significant, especially among those who feared humanity's growing power. "Is there any mention of what they intend to do?" she asked, studying the datapad. Rael nodded grimly. "They're not directly aligned with the Elders, but they have a lot of sway with the other smaller races. The transmission indicates that they've been negotiating with a few of the Elder Council members, trying to ensure that humanity fails. They believe if we're allowed to challenge the Elders and win, it will throw the balance of power into chaos." Selena's jaw tightened. "So, they'll try to influence the trial itself. We can't let them." Rael's expression was stern. "We've been working to counteract their efforts. But we need to be careful. The Elders have eyes everywhere." Selena pocketed the data pad, her mind already calculating the best course of action. "Then we'll make sure they don't have a chance. We'll expose them for what they are before they can strike." The Nexus was a place of layers and shadows, and Selena knew better than anyone how to maneuver through its politics. Still, she wasn't naive. The Andari were just one faction among many, and the true power resided with the Elders themselves. She would need to uncover what they were really afraid of. The next day, she made her way to the Nexus Central Archives, a vast repository of knowledge that spanned entire walls of crystalline data storage. Each block of light held centuries of information, both public and private. Some records were accessible to everyone, others were tightly sealed behind layers of security. Selena was here for the latter. She approached a security terminal and inserted a small keycard that she'd obtained from one of the Nexus administrators she'd bribed, an old friend from Earth who owed her a favor. The terminal hummed as the door slid open. Beyond it, a narrow corridor led to a private vault where the most sensitive records were stored. Once inside, she scanned the data blocks, searching for any information that might give her an advantage in the trial. Her eyes flicked over the illuminated walls, scanning for anything unusual. It didn't take long before one block caught her attention. The markings on it were familiar, an old Earth signature she'd seen only once before. With a soft hiss, the block slid into the reader. The data it contained was encrypted, but not enough to stop Selena. A few keystrokes, and she had access. The information flooded her mind in an instant, and the implications were staggering. The Elders, it seemed, had been monitoring humanity's progress for centuries, not as a potential threat, but as a growing force they could control. They'd been keeping humanity on the fringes for a reason. They feared what humans could become if they were allowed to ascend too quickly. Selena's pulse quickened as she absorbed the data. The Elders were afraid of the human spirit. It wasn't just about power or control. They feared humanity's innate ability to change the course of history, to defy the natural order and reshape the galaxy in their image. The more she read, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a political maneuver, it was a battle for the very soul of the galaxy. Selena shut down the data pad and took a steadying breath. If humanity was going to survive this trial, she would need to harness this fear, use it against the Elders themselves. But first, she had to warn her people. She couldn't afford to trust anyone fully, not in a place as treacherous as the Aether Nexus. She left the archives quietly, her mind already formulating a plan. As she stepped into the bustling hallway, she made her way toward the communications room, where Rael would be waiting. The moment she stepped inside, Rael didn't even look up. He was already on the console, transmitting a secure message to the fleet back home. He'd learned, as she had, to move quickly and with purpose in the Nexus. "I found something," Selena said, her voice low. "The Elders are afraid of us, Rael. More than we realized. This trial isn't just about power. It's about control over the future. Over us." Rael paused, turning to face her. His eyes were hard, but there was a flicker of something else, a recognition. "What do we do now?" "We expose them," she replied, a fire igniting in her chest. "We make it clear that humanity will never be controlled. And if they try to stop us, we'll show them exactly how dangerous we can be." Selena didn't know if she could win this battle. The Elders were ancient, and their influence reached far beyond the Nexus. But one thing was certain, humanity's time had come. And she would fight to ensure it. The pieces were falling into place, slowly but surely. The trial was only days away. And when it began, the galaxy would remember the name of Selena Ward. It would be the beginning of something new. Something unstoppable. The day of the trial arrived with an unsettling calm, the kind of stillness that settled deep into the bones. Selena Ward stood at the edge of the arena, a vast, hollow structure suspended in the void of space, where the boundaries of the galaxy's ancient power would be tested. The Aether Nexus had transformed for the occasion, its chambers now alive with holographic projections that pulsed with energy. This wasn't just any trial, it was the trial that would determine if humanity would have a future among the stars. The chamber was a colossal expanse, with walls that seemed to shimmer with ancient runes. The air buzzed with tension, the collective anxiety of every species in the galaxy on full display. The Elders' Council loomed high above the platform, their presence like shadows cast over everything beneath them. Selena could feel their cold eyes piercing through her, their judgment already passed before the trial had even begun. Beside her, Rael adjusted his uniform, his usual calm demeanor betrayed by the tightness in his shoulders. "They won't make this easy," he murmured, his voice barely audible over the distant hum of the chamber. The Andari are already in position. They'll try to manipulate the outcome if they can. Selena didn't need to hear Rael's words to know that the odds were stacked against her. She'd already uncovered the Andari's plan to sabotage the trial, and now it was a race to outwit them before it was too late. The clock was ticking, and she couldn't afford to let distractions derail their mission. "They won't get the chance," Selena replied, her voice steady. "We're not just here to win, Rael. We're here to expose them." The audience in the arena was growing restless. Hundreds of eyes, most alien, some human, were watching intently as the representatives from each species took their places. Each one had a stake in the trial, though none more than the elders themselves. The stakes had never been higher. It wasn't just about the fate of humanity, it was about reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy, and the elders couldn't afford to lose. At the far end of the arena, Elder Lothar stood, his gaze fixed upon Selena. He made no attempt to hide the disdain in his expression, but there was something else there too, a flicker of uncertainty. She could see it in the way he stood, as though waiting for something he couldn't quite predict. For a brief moment, their eyes locked, and the weight of his unspoken challenge hit her like a physical blow. But Selena didn't flinch. She wasn't afraid. The holographic displays around the arena flickered, and a deep, resonant voice echoed through the chamber. "Welcome, representatives of the galaxy, to the trial of ascendancy. Today, humanity stands to prove its place among the stars." The voice, omnipresent and authoritative, came from the ancient artificial intelligence that governed the Nexus. Its tone was cold and impartial, but it wasn't fooling anyone. This was a test, not just of strength, but of wills. The fate of entire civilizations hung in the balance, and the trial would begin soon. A figure cloaked in shimmering robes stepped forward, a representative of the elders. It was one of the lesser-known members of the council, Elder Trava, a being whose physical form was entirely ethereal, like a creature made of starlight and shadow. She was a force of quiet power, but Selena could sense the tension in her movements. This was not a normal trial. It was a battle for survival. The first test, Trava's voice resonated, will be a battle of intellect. You will each face a series of challenges designed to measure the ingenuity and resilience of your species. Humanity, you may have come far, but your capacity to endure and adapt remains unproven. We will see if you truly possess what it takes to join the galactic fold. Selena's eyes narrowed. She knew what was coming. The challenges would be complex, demanding not just physical strength but mental acuity. The elders had crafted these tests to expose weaknesses, to break humanity's spirit before it even had a chance to stand on equal footing. But they underestimated one thing: humanity's greatest strength wasn't just in adaptability, it was in its relentless pursuit of victory, no matter the odds. Rael leaned in close, his voice barely above a whisper. "This is it. Whatever happens, stay focused. Don't let them distract you." Selena nodded, her mind already racing through the potential scenarios. The arena shifted, the floor beneath them retracting to reveal a series of platforms suspended high in the air. The challenge had begun. The first test was a puzzle of intricate machinery, a massive, floating construct that seemed to defy gravity. It was an engineering marvel, a combination of alien technology and ancient designs. The task was simple: assemble the device and activate it before time ran out. But the catch was that the puzzle was deceptively complicated, filled with traps meant to delay and confuse. Selena wasted no time. She stepped onto the platform, her boots clicking against the metal surface as she surveyed the components before her. At first glance, it seemed like an impossible task. Pieces of the device were scattered in disarray, wires and energy conduits twisted in ways that made no sense. But Selena's mind raced with calculations, her fingers moving with precision as she began to piece the puzzle together. Every movement was deliberate, every choice calculated. Her team had trained for this moment, solving problems on the fly, thinking outside the box. It wasn't just about intelligence, it was about creativity, about finding solutions where others saw none. The clock ticked down, the seconds slipping away like sand through her fingers. Sweat trickled down her brow, but she remained focused. She could hear the faint murmurs of the council members, the Andari among them, watching closely, waiting for her to fail. But Selena wouldn't give them the satisfaction. With a final click, the device hummed to life. The entire arena seemed to exhale as the puzzle was solved, the intricate machinery coming together in a seamless whole. The holographic displays around the room flashed with symbols of success, and the elders, for the briefest moment, seemed to pause in their judgment. Rael's voice cut through the silence. "You did it, Captain." Selena didn't smile, but the tension in her shoulders eased. This was just the first step. There was more to come, and the real battle had only just begun. But as she glanced toward the elders, she knew something had shifted. They had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would cost them. "We're just getting started," Selena muttered to herself, eyes locked on Lothar. The trial was far from over. And the real challenge was yet to unfold.